Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name's Lauren. I've been in the makeup industry for like 10, 11 years now, and with a focus on bridal in the past like 5 years, I would say. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. This is my model, Betsy. We're gonna be doing like maybe not the most mind-blowing makeup look you've ever seen today, but it's gonna be your money maker. It's gonna be a really great go-to look that's gonna look good on everyone that you could build as a soft glam and up to more full coverage high glam. So it's gonna be a really like versatile look that will look good on everyone. I've already prepped Betty's skin with Embryo Lisse and a little bit of our lip oil from HG from Makeup Forever. So yeah. I'm gonna start with our new Super Boost skin tint. Since Betsy already has really nice skin, this is just gonna be enough coverage to even it out and almost just create a nice base layer for the makeup without getting too cakey or heavy. And I'm mixing colors 7 and 8 together. And that's going to be perfect for her. And then I'm just going to go in with a paddle brush. This is our 106 brush. And what I like about this skin tint is that it's sheer enough that it's not, that you can really layer it. So we're going to start with one thin layer and just really press that in. And this just has, here, I'll have you turn towards me. Perfect.
It's honestly like difficult, like focus on so like working like working to the skin or makeup. We know I hoping it a long day. I want to cut it and briefly.
I like this too because a lot of brides are not your clients that are getting their make. I mean, some brides are full glam, but a lot of your brides are going to be like not ones to get their makeup professionally done very often. So this is a way to just kind of build a nice sheer layer. And it's like just going to give you that really fresh skin that you can build more coverage over top of without getting too heavy. And now I'm just gonna do a little bit of a second layer too, just to build up like kind of a medium coverage. I would say this will build up to like a light medium coverage. You're not gonna get like a true medium, but you're gonna get definitely more than sheer. And it's gonna be more of a natural radiant finish. So it's not gonna be so glowy that you're having to powder a ton over top. And this is gonna be great for like other parts of the bridal party as well. If the mother of the bride, mother of the groom, a little bit more mature skin, this is going to work really well for as well. And then I'm going to go in with our sculpting palette. I love our sculpting palette. I'd say this is like my most used palette of all the ones that we sell. And I'm just going to go in with a little bit of this deep shade here. And I'm going to mix that in with a little bit of her foundation color too, just so that it all blends really seamlessly. And with the palettes, for sanitation reasons, you're going to want to scoop it out, but also so that you can melt it down so that it's going to be like a much easier texture to work with instead of just going straight in without warming up the product. And I'm going to use this double-ended brush. I think double-ended brushes are a little controversial. I know a lot of people don't like that they get like smushed on the bottom. I don't have that problem. I have the big like Revel bag, and so I don't have that issue. But what I like about double-ended brushes is I feel like I can work a lot faster. This is just going to provide like a really soft contour, and it's also going to hit those spots like on Betsy's forehead and just around the perimeter where it's a little bit deeper so that you're not having to use like 3 foundation colors. You can kind of just marry everything with your contour. Do we have a lot of bridal artists in here? Raise your hand. Yeah. Welcome.
Unless they're related to me now.
Okay, so this just, and then I'm going to flip this around and just kind of blend out those edges. And turn towards me. Yeah, you're good. What kind of challenges do you guys face as bridal artists? Yeah. I'd say that's tough because you're always with bridal straddling that line of wanting it to look good in real life and not wanting to like shock them with how much makeup they have on, but then wanting it to look good in photos too. So when I'm having my trials, you obviously want to have as thorough, here, turn this way a little bit for me, of a consultation as you can, especially like take advantage of your trials when you do have that extra time, because the day of, you're not going to have that extra time. And I always try to get my brides too to schedule their trial on a day where they have something else going on, or where they can really wear it from like morning to night or afternoon to evening so they can see it in different light. Because I've definitely had a lot of people be in my chair for their trial and at the end of it be a little unsure. And then I just tell them, you know, it's noon right now. It's broad daylight. So this might feel like a lot to you right now, but take pictures throughout the day, like go out, do different things, see how it really wears. And I've had a lot of people come back to me like, actually, I did like how that wore, and I see how it photographed better. So you want to like just really have that confidence so that you sound really sure of yourself, and don't let that freak you out when people are feeling a little weird or uncomfortable. Like they're just not used to seeing themselves glammed up like that. Okay, but I'm going to go in and highlight a little bit with this concealer. It has, this is our HD concealer. This is actually an older formula, but I love this for bridal and we do still sell it. It's the Ultra HD. It's going to be like more medium to full coverage, but it's a nice thin formula, so it's really easy to work with. Look up for me. And I just think this one's really nice for layering as well, if you need to. And I do use this on like basically all of my clients. Turn towards me. So I'd say it works really well on younger skin, on more mature clients. This is just a really nice, versatile concealer, and I will keep buying it until we literally don't have any more. I'd say another breakdown that I have too with not just brides, but with any clients. If I ever have a client that isn't happy, it's not because the makeup is bad, it's because I didn't have a thorough enough consultation. So making sure that you are really locked in and focused during that consultation, which can be hard. Sometimes you're doing hair at the same time too. You have to make sure you command them for their attention, and you're not just letting other people kind of bulldoze the appointment and just thinking, here, close your eyes for me. And just thinking like, oh, it'll probably be fine because I feel like that happens to all of us every once in a while. We get a little too comfortable. And then we get to the end of the appointment and the client and you were just like never on the same page. So I like to ask just a lot of really important questions, like how do they wear their makeup every day? I like to ask in depth what their routine is kind of like, because if you just kind of ask generic questions, everyone's going to say the same thing. Everyone's going to say, oh, just like, don't make me look like a clown. Don't like, I want something natural. Every single person is going to say that they want to look natural. And that means something totally different to everyone.
Lauren, do you have any tips for people to take a bride without a trial?
Yeah, I would say schedule a little extra time with them if you can. Like my normal appointment times with people are 45 minutes. Brides, maybe I'll do an hour. So if you can, day of, schedule a little extra time, maybe an hour 15, so you can have a little bit more time for a consultation. But also just like asking questions while you're working too. So while I'm doing skin prep, we're talking about the next step we're going to do. We're going to talk about like foundation. What foundation do you wear currently? Like, what is your routine like? Do you normally wear it? Here, close your eyes for me. And so just asking the right questions and really trying to not waste time, like dilly-dallying around is going to be obviously so important. And I'd say too, if you're not having a trial, have your bride send you some inspiration photos. Like try to have a little pre-consultation, like via email or text message, so that you're not totally winging it day of. Okay, now that her complexion is looking really good, I'm just gonna go in and do like a loose set. This is our loose powder in Tan Golden. I love this powder because if I can get enough of it out. I love this powder because it's almost impossible to overuse it. It's super, super finely milled. So for a loose set, I like to just kind of go in really, like you can see it flying off of the brush. It's really super fine. I've definitely like accidentally gotten this on a client's shirt before because there was so much loaded in my brush that I didn't realize. So kind of swiping everything on your wrist or on your hand first is going to be really important too. Oh, this is it's actually, Antonio, do you remember? 140? I love this little detailer brush for powder. Just kind of fits into every nook and cranny. This is one of my most used brushes for sure. Okay, go ahead and look up for me. I'm just gonna take my ring finger and make sure there's no creasing happening underneath the eye before I set it. Because if there is creasing and you go to set it, it's gonna set the crease. And we definitely don't want that.
I think especially now in like 2025, we have clients who are like so greedy programs. That is sometimes is a top formula.
Towards me.
It's really great for absorbing excess moisture, and that really finely milk factor is going to grow the skin at least on starch. So I feel like a really natural.
It's a great powder for people who hate powder.
Yep.
So if you have a client in your chair that's scared of powder, just tell them, too bad, you need it. Like your face is gonna melt off without it, no matter how dry your skin is, no matter how like you feel about it. Here, close your eyes again for me. everyone needs powder. And if they're nervous, I like to just say that. I'm like, well, this is a powder for people that hate powder. And like, I personally have really dry skin. I use this powder. You're going to be fine. Close for me. Okay, so that's what I call like a loose set. And then I'm going to go in with our banana powder to kind of highlight. Which I thought I had up here, but I don't. Can you grab me a banana? Thank you. So in the meantime, while Jocelyn's grabbing that for me, I'm going to get started on brows. Brows, again, a very important part of the consultation. It's one of like the most personal things about makeup. So I like to ask exactly what their current brow routine is. And then I like to kind of just like brush them up into place of where I'm going to want them styled, which for me personally is somewhere in between the laminated brow, but like not quite so laminated. I like to basically brush it all the way up, but then kind of like skim the top down. And I feel like most people do prefer that. If they love the laminated brow, then by all means go for it. But I just personally think this looks the best on everyone. And then I'm going to take our Aqua Resist Brow Definer, which is our skinnier pencils in shade 40. And 40 will get you through like 60% of your clients. This is just a really great color to have. I'd say if you have like the deepest one, this one, and a taupe, you could cover like everyone's brows with that. And we're always following sanitation and spraying everything down with alcohol. It's just such a big part of being professional, and people definitely do notice. I feel like especially since the pandemic, people notice even more who's being clean and who's not. And even if they don't say anything, people are watching you. All right, tilt your chin up a little bit for me. So we're only going to fill in where we need it. We're not going to go through the middle of the brow so much. We're only going to fill where there is no hair. Once you start filling where there is hair is when the brows start to look just a little too dense. I like to hold the brow a little bit right here where it arches as well. I feel like it helps me just kind of sketch out the shape that I want. And I like the skinnier pencils too. That's what I use probably 90% of the time. I just feel like you have a little more flexibility with them. And I always just like to kind of brush through a little bit too, just to soften.
Lauren, do you recommend that for brows you always use something waterproof?
Yes, definitely, especially for bridal, as many waterproof products as you possibly can use. Please do. It's a super long day for everyone. Peak bridal season is when it's warm outside, so it might be a little bit easier for your makeup to hang on this time of the year, but midsummer, you are just going to want everything to last. And I'd say even too, if Betsy had like thinner, if I had a model with like thinner brows, I would even go in with a dry Q-tip or even a little makeup remover and just make sure that area is super dry so that you can really like, if you need to like sculpt in a full brow for someone, you're definitely not going to want that to move. And I even like to take a little bit of powder and just go over the brow too, just to kind of like set it. because your eyebrows get really sweaty and oily just like the rest of your face. So throwing like a little bit of setting powder on top of the brow is not a bad idea either. And I even feel like it helps kind of like soften them a little bit too. Now I'm going to go in with the banana powder I was talking about earlier to highlight. And you want like a decent amount of powder. I'm going to take my powder puff and kind of roll it like a taco. And we're just going to go ahead and dip that right in. And I'm not going to go straight to the face from this because you want this evenly distributed too. I like to, again, just like work this in a little bit and kind of do like a soft bake. Turn towards me. And it even kind of helps you like map out. And then and now you can really see how the skin is going from just kind of like normal everyday makeup to that more highlighted bridal. It just looks more professional. And this is what's going to make everything photograph so much better too. And since I like to start with complexion, I know a lot of people like to start with eyes. If you just do this kind of like light bake as well, it's going to help with any fallout you might have with the eyes. Because you're going to have that layer of powder kind of like protecting you if you do get any fallout. And I am actually going to go back in with that sculpting shade we used earlier to start to map out the eye look. Another double-ended brush that I really like. I love this kind of blending brush on this side because it's not too fluffy. It's still going to deposit the product for you, but it's not going to go everywhere. It's going to be a little more precise. Okay, so turn towards me. You can keep your eyes open. I like to kind of, this is the sculpting palette. So that same shade I used as her bronzer, I'm using, so it's a cream. I love to lay down a cream product first before I do my powder shadows because that also is going to help so much with fallout. And it's also just going to have a lot of the work already done for you. So then you're just going in to do final touches kind of with the powder. And it's just going to help you like map out the shape. And I like to do it with the eyes open too because that's the most important part of the look is when your eyes are open. So you could do a full eyeshadow look and it looks really nice when their eyes are closed and then they open their eyes and it's like everything disappeared or didn't quite land exactly where you thought it was going to.
Is it okay to use creams even after you use powder on the eyes?
I don't on the eyes, but I do on the face. Like I definitely do with blush because I feel like it helps your skin look better. But just because you don't want like creasing to be happening on the eyes, I don't think I would always finish with powder products on the eyes personally. Unless you have some sort of a liquid product that like dries down. But this with creams, no, because this isn't really gonna set until I set it. And then what's nice about these brushes too is that I can just kind of like wipe off the cream product and go right in with powder. So all of our brushes are synthetic. So they're vegan, if that's important to you or important to your clients. Close for me. And it's just gonna help everything really stick on there too. This is the this is the Anywhere Caffeine Artist to Go palette. I love these. They're really small. I love little 6 pans like this because it just takes a lot of the guesswork out for you. Like, I don't love making my own eyeshadow palette. I like when it's already done for me. So we just did a light wash of this kind of medium bronzy color across the whole lid. And I'm doing mostly tapping and pressing motion. That's like kind of my order of operations, is to just dispense all the pigment on there before I go in and blend it out. And I am blending a little bit in the tear duct, like up towards her brow bone, because that's going to help like contour even the nose a little bit and just give you that really soft, like bronzy, smoky eye. And it's just one of those eye looks too that you could stop at any point in time and do mascara and it would look nice. I find that most of the time in bridal, it's not going to be like obviously not going to be your most dramatic eye looks, especially with like all the bridal trends now being more clean beauty. Okay, open for me.
Seeing in bridal, like in New York, it's a weird bridal people now kind of vary from like back in other areas you live, or New York kind of like stable.
No, New York is so different. So I'm from the Midwest. So I'm from Ohio originally. And I also lived in Chicago for 6 years. And regionally, makeup is so different. Like, even if I were to start working in Jersey, like, would be totally different than how I do my brides in New York. And I have some brides that come to New York looking for an artist because the Jersey artists are too heavy-handed for them. So makeup is extremely regional. And I'd say that's a big part of your consultation too. And just part of connecting with your client. Like, where are you from? Is going to give you a lot of leading answers into how they wear their makeup. So Midwest makeup is like a little bit heavier, like not quite as heavy as Jersey, but heavier than New York. And then when I moved to New York 2 years ago and started taking brides, like especially like coming out of the pandemic, I feel like people got a little softer with their makeup too. I had to like find that balance of not to, yeah, I had to like really refine my style a lot for a lot of my brides. Okay, so since Betsy has like really round eyes, I'm gonna go in and tightline with this chocolatey brown liner, and then I think we're just gonna like smoke that out a little bit. I love when people have round eyes because you can do a lot more, like you can go kind of ham with their eye makeup and they can really take it. If I had someone in my chair who maybe had like smaller eyes or they wanted their eyes to look bigger, I would go in with like, we have a really nice champagne like eyeliner that is really nice in the waterline, but for her, she can really take it. So we are going to go in with the chocolate liner. I'm going to start tightlining the top. So go ahead and look down for me. And you're just going to lift a little bit with your thumb and really get in there and wiggle it in between the lashes. I think doing the top is the most uncomfortable for most people. They're not like used to tightlining the top. So I like to just get it over with and be really fast. These pencils are really creamy, so you can be fast with them, which is nice. And turn towards me. And since we're going to smoke it out a little bit anyway, it doesn't have to be perfect. And sometimes I like toggle back and forth between the eyes. Like this one's a little more sensitive, I can tell. But that's okay. And then look up for me and like give them a break. Do you need a break? Are you too late? No. Okay, good. I think another really good question to ask people in their consultation is if they've had their makeup done before and what did they not like about it. because they can talk on and on about what they do like, but a lot of people are really bad at describing what they like anyway. So it's you're going to learn a lot more about what they didn't like. And then it's like, I feel bad for the artists before, but grateful because they already did a lot of work for you. If they did stuff that they didn't like, it's going to give you a lot of answers. Here, look down again for me. So already just doing the tight line is going to change the eye shape a little bit. Like, I just think it looks a little sexier. I know, thank you. You're being a trooper. And then I'm just going to take like a little bit of a bullet brush and this chocolatey color, and we're going to smudge that out a little bit. And close for me. This is, I don't know because the number is,
The little bullet one.
it's the little bullet one, but it's the one that's a little bit more tapered.
The pointy bullet.
Okay, thank you.
I think we do love the lemonade.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I feel like bridal trends kind of like, I don't want to say stay the same, but there's just, it's going to be your classic looks that, you know, in 30 years when you're looking at your old wedding photos, you want that to still look good. So I don't know if I believe like that much in a lot of bridal, obviously they happen, bridal trends, but my personal style is like, I just like to keep it as classic as possible. And like as long as it's fitting to your bride's style is going to be the most important thing too. Like maybe you have someone in your chair that's a little more funky and like classic is going to be weird for them. So you just always want to make sure you're really picking up on the vibe of your client and that you guys are vibing too and that you kind of like understand each other and that you're really listening and that you're not thinking about like your portfolio or the photos that you want to get, because I think sometimes you like are doing someone's makeup and you want it to be like, I want them to look different. I want them to really notice a difference. And that's where sometimes the makeup really gets lost, or when you lose your client is because you're like worried about not doing enough. That contour powder is still a little too shiny for me, so I'm going to go in and set it with a little bit of that banana powder. And this will just kind of be like blending, but easier too. So I don't want to do too much else with the eyes. This is not going to be like an eyeshadow heavy look, but it is bridal. So I do want to do like a little pop of a champagne color in the tear duct. So I'm going to take our Aqua Resist Smoky Shadow. I love eyeshadow sticks. I feel like if you need to do something like shadow sticks will just save your life. If you need to do something quick, something easy, you can always smudge a shadow stick on. And these are waterproof and they're beautiful to layer with like a powder shimmer too. So we're just gonna, and I like to go in with a brush. I don't like to go in straight with the stick because it gets a little chunky sometimes. I don't know if that happens to you guys. And I just feel like it's a little softer and more diffused going in with a little bullet brush. And then just because I really like this medium shimmer bronzy shade in here too, I am going to go across the lid with this as well. And close for me. And
Tips for people on how to deal with mother of the bride or bridesmaid or maid of honor.
yeah, because we've all been in some predicaments, haven't we? I think the key is to just, the bride is the most important person that day, and you want to keep your focus on her, and you don't want her mom, the groom's mom, or any of the bridesmaids bulldozing you. So remaining like that authority figure in the situation and not letting people kind of like walk all over you and just being really confident. And not letting people like get you down either. Like you might have a mother of the bride that has been doing her makeup the same way for, 35 years, and she wants her teal eyeliner or whatever weird thing it is that she wants. Sometimes when people are difficult, I literally just do how they do their makeup, but like myself, like a little bit better. Like I'll just do whatever they normally like, because then at least if that's what they kind of wear every day, then they can't really argue with you. And then, we're not perfect. We're not going to make everyone happy. And some people just are difficult, and it is what it is, but you just have to kind of get through it. Okay. I love how Betty's eyes are turning out. I'm going to smudge a little bit more of that chocolate shadow just underneath the lash line too, because I always like to kind of marry the top and the bottom lash line together. So go ahead and look up for me. And again, work it in. And this is the more tapered one again. Look up. This is going to help to just kind of like create a little bit of a barrier. Like it's going to help set the eyeliner and help it not run and help just everything kind of almost like bumpers for your eyeliner. Look up again for me. And then you'll notice that I haven't done cheek color yet either. I like to do lip color first and then do cheeks very last. I think it saves me time, because how many times have you gone in with your lip, with your cheek color, and then you go in with the lip, and then you have to go back for more blush because you want that all to like harmonize. So I like to just save the blush for very last. And I'm going to do lashes after that too. Okay, so for lip today, I'm going to start by, first of all, wiping off what she has on now, because you don't want it very emollient, because you want this to last. So make sure you get all of that off. And then I even like to go in with like a little bit of powder too, just so it's like a little bit dry. Especially just like around the edge where we're going to be lining with lip liner. I don't like to do foundation on the lips. I know it looks nice at first, but I think it gets too like cakey throughout the day, and then it's hard to like touch up too. So I like to kind of just work with the natural lip color instead of with like a blank canvas, if you will. And yeah, this is Versatile Chestnut in our Artist Color pencil. One of my favorite colors, definitely a must-have. And I always like to tell people are going to try to help you with lip liner. Women want to help all the time. Like they're going to be moving their lips all around. So I like to start by saying, just keep your lips together. I don't need you to move at all. Perfect. And I like to start on the bottom right here. And with Betsy, she has perfect, gorgeous, amazing lips. I'm not going to overline them at all, I don't think. But if I do ever overline, I only overline a little bit on the Cupid's bow and a little bit down here. That's going to give you the most like lifted, kind of natural looking overline instead of overline. Like when you start to overline on the corners right here, it's like it gets weird. It doesn't look good. It looks unnatural. And yeah, it's just, I think doing that slight overline just at the Cupid's bow is just really classy, more youthful, natural way to overline. Turn towards me. And I like to kind of fill in the corner a little bit too. There's only like 3 times that I don't want people talking during makeup, and one is lips. The other one's eyebrows. You have to watch out for that. Sometimes I'll ask a person a question right before I start to do their eyebrows, and I get so mad at myself because people do talk with their eyebrows. And then obviously lip liner, like, or eyeliner. Eyeliner, lip liner, and eyebrows, those are like my quiet times. I try to be conscious to not be, to like stop chatting at those times. And I'd say when you have your bride in your chair too, I used to think like if I talked a lot, that would make, I don't know, like make them feel better or like make me seem like I don't know. With my brides in my chair, I really, with any kind of my chair, I like to lead by like however they're feeling. But I try not to talk really when the bride is in my chair. That's their Zen moment for the day. It's probably one of the only few times they're actually going to be able to sit down and like not have to be moving around doing things during the day. So I try to make that time for the bride like as most Zen as possible. So it's just like not the time to be dazzling someone with your personality. Like it's time to just, yeah, give them that Zen moment. Again, I don't know what this brush is. It might be an old one, but it's just a little bit of a bigger lip brush because Betsy has really full lips. And then the lip color I'm using is from our Velvet Nude collection. This is Cozy Taupe. It's just like slightly lighter and warmer than the Versatile Chestnut. It's not a triangle. It has a round edge to it. It might be a concealer brush, yeah. But using any brushes that just like fit your client's face is going to be the most important. Someone with smaller lips, I'm going to obviously be using a much smaller brush, but you want to work smarter, not harder. So you want a brush that's going to correctly fit that surface area. And then I'm going to go in with one of our new glosses too. This is our Super Boost gloss. Has just like a, this one's sheer with, oh, I have fairy, yeah, fairy glamour. Thank you. Just gonna have like a little bit of a gold sheen to it. And I don't like to do floor to ceiling lip gloss. We're just gonna gloss in the middle a little bit because we know that lip gloss is going to break down your lip color throughout the day. So just doing a dab of it is going to give you that shine, but it's going to last longer. And I love a glossy lip, especially for bridal. I know matte lasts longer, but I just think, and it depends on the person too, but I don't know. I love a glossy lip. So we're just going to dab a little bit in the middle here and along the Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to take one of our other palettes. I'm going to take our HD Skin Essential palette. Is this medium? This is the light, but I love this blush color for her. I think it's going to go really well with the lip color. Just a little bit of like a burnt red. Yeah, I love it. It's like a nice berry. It's like enough color without being too much. I'm going to go in with that same brush I used for the contour as well. I just love this angled side. I feel like angled brushes for the cheeks are so easy to work with. Work that in. Press it on your hand to make sure it's all evenly distributed in the brush. And turn towards me. Turn that way. And lashes. We're going to start by curling the lashes. I'm using a Shiseido eyelash curler, but please, if you haven't already, go get a nice eyelash curler, buy an expensive one. It's one of the things that actually does matter if you get a good one or not. Because the higher end eyelash curlers are just going to be so much more comfortable and they're going to curl so much better. It's going to make a huge difference. Stay open and look down. You good? Turn towards me. Look down again. So I like to just lift up with the thumb a little bit and do like a nice like soft curl. You don't need to press as hard. Start pumping it really soft at first so they get kind of used to it and you're making sure you're not pinching them. And then you can kind of, once you're confident that you're in a good spot on their lashes, you can press a little bit harder. And then I'm going to use our Smoky Stretch Mascara. This is a good long wear one, or you could use our waterproof mascara as well. I do normally use waterproof, but since it's not actually her wedding day, I'm going to spare her from waterproof mascara and just use regular. And I like to start with bottom lashes. So go ahead and look up for me. That way, when you do the bottom lashes first, you're not going to have to clean up that top lid. Go ahead and look down for me. Again, we're lifting with the thumb and we're really wiggling it in there.
Bend the disposable yourself, or that's
I bent it myself. I always bend it. I feel like it gives me a little more control and you can really get in there.
Do you have any tips when you're working with a hairstylist of like, you know, who's doing what and like creating a like good interaction with them?
Yes. So with a hairstylist, if you guys are working at the same time, or if their hair is already, well, I guess I have two different things. If they're working at the same time, just like, be mindful of spraying your setting spray. Hairstylists will get so mad at you if their hair is already done and you're like drenching it in all these sprays. So if I'm spraying, I like to have the client kind of protect their hair and then also be really mindful of your hair clips too. So you don't want like to be getting in there and creating creases with your hair clips. But luckily I'm not working with a hairstylist today, so I can go ham with my setting spray. And I'm just using the Mist and Fix matte. This actually does have powder in it, so you have to shake it really well. Go ahead and close your eyes for me. Yeah. And sometimes I like to just kind of press that in with a little sponge too. But yeah, this is the final look. You guys have any questions?
What are your favorite makeup forever products to have for like a bridal makeup kit?
Definitely the artist color pencils. You need like any and all of them. Those come in handy so much and they're so versatile. I'd say the palettes, like I said, the sculpting is my most used palette. And then my second most used would be like the blush and glow. So if you have these, you could do like someone's whole complexion. You can do lip with these. There's highlighters in them too, which actually we could make a really nice body glow right now for her too. So I'm going to take some of this gold, mix this onto my palette with some Hydra Boost. The Hydra Boost primer is one of my favorite things too. It's like my favorite mixing medium. It's a great primer. It's going to give you like that extra juicy skin, or if you need to shear something out. It's just really versatile. You could make liquid contour with this. I'm making a liquid highlighter right now with this. I might as well be drinking this stuff. So I go through it really quickly. So yeah, I'd say though the palettes, the artist color pencils, and Hydra Boost are like kit staples that I kind of can't live without. So I sometimes yes, but I still use the original formula more. Just a little more. But I do like the extreme ones for a little bit more full glam bride because I think it gives more of a full glam look and it definitely stays in place longer. Um, but you just have like a little more wiggle room with the original formula. So I'd say it just kind of depends on the scenario. Running out of space on my hands. But the highlighters in these palettes are so beautiful. Yeah. Or no, this is from the sculpting, the highlight from the sculpting. And I like this too, because then it's not so, like the Hydro Boost doesn't make things oily or too like slick. Yeah. And if you're worried about it too, like you can go in and set this with a little spray as well. So you're not worried about transfer. I like it better than I think sometimes on like TikTok and Instagram, the body glow is getting out of control. Where it's like their face is so beat and done, and then their neck is so shiny, their neck and chest is so shiny. So this is just like looks like glowing skin. But yeah, I think this is perfect. Yeah. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for coming. Oh, I did bring lashes with me. I brought, let's do a couple of these. I've been really into the lashes that go underneath that are already sticky. They're a little intimidating at first because it's obviously just like not what you're used to. Actually, I don't have a lash. Not a crimper, you know.
Curler.
Not the curler, the tweezers. What's that? Oh. I love these though. Once you get them on, they're really comfortable. You don't have to put on as much mascara and they look the most natural. Sometimes lashes are like the hardest part of the appointment for me because you have to do what fits their face and what fits their eye shape, but also like they hate seeing that band. My New York brides do not want to see, thank you, a band. Do we have like the bigger ones, the like clamp? You know what I'm talking about? It's okay. I'll just use tweezers. So I love these Ardell ones. They come in, the highest they go up to is 12 millimeters. So I rarely feel like I need anything longer than that. I do have longer lashes if I need it, but these just look the most natural. They are very sticky. So these are already pre-glued. So this doesn't even have glue. The Lashify kind of system is really nice as well, but the adhesive and stuff that it comes with is just a little harder to like use in a sanitary way. So again, we're just gonna have you look down for me and we're just gonna pop this on underneath. And sometimes I even like pinch it with my finger. And if I had more 12s, I would go in with more 12s, but I don't. So I'm just gonna go in with 10s.
You feel more often than not your brides want lashes or don't want
No, they do.
lashes?
I'd say most of the time they do. And the big thing with lashes is that you're gonna want to like match. You're gonna want to keep a lot of different kinds of lashes on you, obviously. But you want to kind of like blend with their lash curl. So if they have a little more straighter lash, you're not going to want super curly lashes because they're not going to go together. You're not going to be able to curl them together. If someone's eyelashes are too curly or they have a lash lift, the underneath ones are perfect for that. And if someone likes a little bit more full glam, then the strip lash across the top is great too. But I feel like most brides want like their lashes, but better. So I've really just been loving the underneath ones. Adds that extra layer of like tight line look as well.
staples that you're having?
Trader Joe's hand sanitizer. I like the wet ones, the sanitizing wipes as well. That's a great question. Skin prep is so important. I didn't show skin prep today. I prepped her beforehand, but I like to keep a little bit of a light exfoliant. I like the Sephora pads, glow pads. Those are really inexpensive and great, but some people even look like they have really beautiful skin at first, and they do. But you get in there and you feel it, and it feels dry or like that. Just like you just have to get that top layer off. Embryo Lace will get you really far, but you also need to have a more lightweight moisturizer in there as well, like a water cream sort of situation, or something that like kind of absorbs a little bit quicker, because Embryo Lace works for most people, but it's not going to work for everyone. It is too emollient for some people. Yeah. I love it. I like it with no lash. I like it with the lash. It's just that like subtle difference. Yeah.
Touch-up kits.
I give touch-up kits. Yeah, especially to my brides. Sometimes, I mean, a lot of people don't even end up using them, but a lot of this stuff I'm going to throw away anyway. So I always keep those little like kind of drawstring bags in also like little empty containers like this that I just order off of Amazon, so that I can give them a little sample of their lip color or even powder if they might need it later. I gift them their powder puff and I gift them their sponge. I give them like a few Q-tips, and you can put a business card in there, but I give those to everyone because unless they're paying me to stay with them and touch up throughout the day, they're going to need to touch up. So you at least want to send them with their lip color and some lip balms. So yeah, that's a good point. That is a non-makeup thing that I keep in my kit. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I want to
So if you like want to get up and look closer, but you'll see they just right at the base of the lash, they're sticky enough that they just stick on there. Yeah. Yeah, give it a try. Like I was at first apprehensive. I thought that putting something underneath the lash was like a little too risky to use on clients, but it's actually more comfortable. They are really safe, and they're actually like I feel like that was quicker and easier for me to do than waiting for the lash, like the glue to dry and then sticking it on. Yeah. And it looks like your lashes. Like those you would never know that she was wearing fake eyelashes. Yeah. Okay. I'd say just practice, practice, practice. But are you talking about individuals that you do like over top? Oh, underneath? Yeah, just these Ardell ones. These are Ardell Naked Natural Press On. These are really sticky. I like the Kiss ones too, but I've been finding that some of the packs are dried out a little bit. The Ardell ones are always sticky for me. But just having them look down but not close their eyes, so look down like this and just lifting the lid a little bit and just pressing it on there. I found that I started using them on myself a lot, and that has helped me just gain enough practice to get comfortable where I can just get in there and pinch them onto my client too. But they should be sticky enough that, like, honestly, the biggest struggle I have sometimes is getting them off of here and then they're stuck to my tweezers. So once you get past that, having them stick under the lash is just really easy. But I think just lifting it with your thumb a little bit and then just pressing it on either with tweezers or with your fingers, they just stick on really easily. Yeah. And I think it sets you apart from so many people too. Like everyone is not using the underneath lashes, and it just makes you look a little more professional, and it just like giving that more seamless look is going to set you apart from a lot of artists who are just throwing on a strip lash, not always necessarily nailing it on that either, and they're more comfortable to wear too.
And they're on the lash.
Correct. Yeah. So you want it at the base of the lash. You don't want it on the waterline. They're going to feel it. It's going to be uncomfortable. But what's nice is that they are reusable. So you can, if you don't get it in the right spot the first time, you can take it off really easily and just press them back on. And if the client really wants to keep them, like she could probably use them like 2 more times, maybe even. Like, yeah, they're awesome. I love them.
So I get, we have to hit foundation on the chest. I might just actually spray their dress on the inner part with Scotch Guard so it doesn't transfer.
I like that.
That-
That's a good tip.
But just get it on the inner part of their dress so that it doesn't transfer in the makeup free fine. Scotch Guard. So I put on the inside of their dress so that if I'm hitting anywhere like on the décolleté, down in between their cleavage with makeup, it's not going to transfer onto their dress because last thing you want is a dress they pay $6,000 for to have a bunch of makeup crusted in.
Yeah.
And it's a spread, right?
Yeah, it's not just spray.
The red can?
Yeah, right there.
That's a good tip. Like add to cart.
And then how much time do you give usually to do the makeup for the bride versus doing bridesmaids?
Bridesmaids, I still book 45 minutes. Bride, I'm going to book 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the bride. I personally am not like a high glam makeup artist, so I'm not booking 2-hour brides. And yeah, so I book like I think having an hour with your bride, having a little extra time for little facial massage or whatever you need that extra time for, is important. Yeah, but I don't do longer than an hour 15 usually. Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest difference between your bridal makeup and your bridesmaids?
Bridesmaids makeup is, I mean, they are more relaxed, like, so you can be a little more flexible, a little more fun with them. I can kind of just throw on a shimmer shade across the lid and some lashes and call it a day. Like, you're still gonna be doing like beautiful makeup on them, obviously, but the bride needs your most attention. Like, that needs to be your best look of the day. So you're gonna want that extra time. The bridesmaids need to look like, a little more uniform with each other. So you can have just kind of like a few looks in your back pocket that like work really well. This could work for bridesmaids as well. I mean, this could work for anyone really. But yeah, I think just, it's a little more light situation with the bridesmaids. Like, they're having fun. Your bride is nervous and needs to look perfect. And so you're going to want a little more time just for those extra details. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be using my underlash on all of my bridesmaids too, because it's like they're my most expensive lashes. Unless they really need them, I'm gonna do something a little easier and like, yeah, I'm just gonna, probably use a strip lash, or I really like, not individuals, but like the clusters. I like these kind of lashes too. So yeah, just kind of like smaller details like that I'm gonna do on the bride. Do you guys have any questions about like how do you feel about the business side of bridal? Is that, yeah.
Do you do all the bridesmaids as well as the one?
It really depends on how big the bridal party is, but like, yeah, I want to try to keep as much money for myself as possible. I've even done like 11 people before with an assistant instead of like hiring another artist, which was like cutting it close, but but yeah, I will, if I have a really good assistant, I can take a lot of people. Yeah.
You do bridal contracts before?
Yes, contracts are so important, even if it's someone you know, like actually, especially if it's someone you know. If it's like friends or family, like you want to have a contract in place. Even when you're just taking models for like social media, you're going to want a little model release sign for them. So you just never know what's going to happen. And a lot of people, like, this is their first time, most of the time, their first time planning a wedding. So they don't know really what's involved either, but you have a contract with all of your other vendors. You need to have a contract to protect And it doesn't just protect you, it protects your client too. So they should feel more comfortable coming to you because you have a contract in place. And it is important to like find a lawyer to look over your contract as well, so that if someone ever did not pay you or try to take you to small claims court or something, like, you know, you see like the key look on TikTok, like getting blasted, like you never know what's going to happen. So you always want to protect yourself.
But do you think that just applies to like classic makeup versus to a regular client as well?
I think it's a little different with bridal because there's so much more involved. A regular client that's like going to a party, if they cancel, like that's not gonna make or break my business. But like if a whole wedding party tries to cancel me without enough time or without following my rules, that is like a huge deficit onto my business. Like you're losing multiple clients instead of just like one person canceling on you. Some people do. I think if you have like a booking site, you can put some like more generic waivers in place for clients. You can take deposits for regular clients if you want to, but my deposit for bridal is like half of what you're going to owe me before the day of, and then you want to have all of your money before the day of too. So you're not scrambling around trying to get everyone's Venmo. It's unprofessional. It wastes time. Like just have all that kind of contracts and what like guidelines you want your business to follow. Have that all squared away beforehand. Because otherwise you don't want to learn the hard way with some of that stuff. Like we all start somewhere, and I think a lot of people start like just once the ball is rolling, your business is going to grow really quickly. So just like be over prepared instead of thinking like, well, I only do a couple weddings a year, or it's my friend, who cares? Like no matter what it is, it's just going to be more comfortable for you and for your client too. It's going to help you just look so much more professional. And I have had people book me before, not because they didn't like their trial with another person, but because my line of communication and just like the way I run my business felt more professional to them than a different artist. So it can really set you apart too. It's like the bare minimum really that you need to do to just maintain being a professional artist, as opposed to someone who's just doing this like as a little side business for fun, or, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
How would you recommend building your clients?
So I think it's tough, but you kind of just have to throw like I say, you just throw all the darts on the board and see what sticks. So picking, like I freelance here part-time. Sometimes I get clients from here. I work for other bridal companies too to help fill my time in between. Like some people do Glam Squad, or I just find other bridal agencies that I can work for as well. And then you're networking with and just reaching out, doing, you know, free photo shoots where everyone is getting, you know, content for free. Social media, if you're savvy at social media, that is going to help you so much too. And just like honestly, like grassroots too, just like having your friends and family, like just putting it out there that you are a makeup artist and that you specialize in bridal, and just speaking that into existence, I think really helps too. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Thank you so much. I really had so much fun. Appreciate everyone coming out.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming in today. Just as a reminder, you also get 40% off today all Makeup Forever products downstairs. If you guys need help, the team is going to be here to assist you with shopping. And also make sure you give us a follow on Instagram at @strokestudio.nyc for future events and classes. But then also on TikTok at @ProStudioNY. Thank you.
Open the